30-24. Beat Ohio State again. Michigan got it done, and I am beyond pumped for this team. We are live on Saturday. We're going to put this out probably on Monday, maybe Sunday night. We will see. But if you're watching this afterwards, whenever we go live, you can get on the show using hashtag Michigan, or you can super chat us here on the Michigan Football Report. We had a ton of great questions and a ton of super chats coming on our post-game live here. So let's take this one from Wave Runner. He says, James, reflect on 2022 to 2023. Take a few moments. I like that. He's giving me some time to do that. Somebody do that. Bear with me for 30 to 60 seconds or more, of course. I've been known to be a little long-winded in my speaking. 2021 was such a breakthrough season. 2-4 in 2020. Felt like the entire program was falling apart. And then you get the quarterback controversy into 2022. Cade game 1, JJ game 2. It was clear that JJ was the guy, which Jim Harbaugh said right afterwards. But you still go in. You lose Blake Corum. I think as a sports fan, that Blake Corum injury right before halftime of the Illinois game last season at Michigan Stadium was one of the more like gut-punching moments of my life, because I'm like, okay, we got a Heisman Trophy candidate. We've got the best running back in the country. We're going to go into Ohio State next week and get that win. We don't have that guy. It felt kind of hopeless, and I'm an optimistic person by nature, but you go in and nothing's going early. You know, Ohio State has like one play here, one play there they make. Like Cade Stover had the ball in his hands down the seam. Michael Barrett right on him. He doesn't get the pass. Ohio State decides to not go for it on fourth down like they did again this year and punt. A couple plays here or there. It could have been at some points last year like 24-7, 24-10, and it wasn't. Michigan never let Ohio State get a 2-score lead. And then the second half happened, right? Colston Loveland right after halftime. J.J. McCarthy just slamming it in there in at the start of the fourth quarter, then 75 yards to the Don, 85 yards to the Don, and it was probably one of the more surprising yet satisfying victories, not probably, of the last 20 years. It was, right? Maybe since 1996 at Ohio State when Ty Streets had that slant, beat Sean Springs for like 70 yards, and Michigan won the game on a number 2 Ohio State. This year we expected it. This year Michigan had the team coming back. They had the better team, the better program, the better coaching staff, the better quarterback, and yet you come to the game and everybody was picking Ohio State. Everybody in the national media, CBS Sports saw a screenshot, every single one of the guys pick Ohio State straight up. Everyone was saying, after Michigan looked a little suspect last week against Maryland, everyone said it was Ohio State's game to win. But nevertheless, Michigan got it done with defense. They got it done with a couple key plays here and there. And then when it came down to it, 8+ minutes left in the game, Michigan holds on 13 plays. Let me say that again. 13 plays, 56 yards, 7 minutes off the clock, gives Ohio State the ball back with like a minute 2 left. That equals a win. Thank you so much to V-Sky for letting me just reflect on the last 2 years. The only thing left to do now, there's only one thing left to do now. And I'll tell you what, only one thing left to do now. Win the whole fucking thing. Michigan's got it all in front of them at this point. Jack said it after the game. He says, no one's beating Michigan at this point. No one's beating Michigan. I know Georgia looks good. Michigan just went home against Ohio State, the number 3 team in the country. 2 weeks ago, they were ranked number 1. Okay, without Jim Harbaugh, and just won the game. Imagine the energy boost. They're going to go to the Big Ten Championship next week and absolutely fist Iowa before going to the College Football Playoff. They're going to obviously be in the Rose Bowl at this point because the Sugar Bowl is the other one. That's going to be either Auburn or Alabama or Georgia. I guess it'd be Alabama. Or if Michigan's the number 1 seed, they'll pick the Rose Bowl. So either way, I think Michigan's going to be in the Rose Bowl after they absolutely curb stomp Iowa next week. V-Sky says it's number 1 in the playoff rankings after this weekend, as Michigan number 1, I should say. It's a good thing to consider. I think it would be short-lived because if they are, after this week, it would be then Georgia would play Alabama this weekend. So Michigan could be number 1 Tuesday for getting this big win over number 2 Ohio State, 2 weeks removed from being number 1 themselves. I'd say it's probably like 51%, right? You get this kind of win without your head coach. I think it actually means a little bit more because sometimes the committee will say, well, this team lost, but they didn't have the quarterback or they didn't have this player, so we're not going to punish them that much. But if you win and you don't have that stuff, I think that means a little bit more. So I think we could see, I would say 51%. But if Georgia and Alabama play the week after that, next week, of course, in the SEC championship game If Georgia then beats them, I bet Georgia, because of the bias of the SEC, pops back up number 1. But Michigan, I would say it's slightly more likely than not that they're number 1 for the first time since January of 1998 in the polls. Number 1 ranked Michigan Wolverines. Let me know what you guys think. Who should be number 1? Who will be number 1? Don't say should. Who will be number 1? I'm going to say, Jack, I thought you had a good idea. I said no, of course. But why wouldn't they be? They just beat the number 2 team in the country, and was number 1 2 weeks ago. Without their head coach, I'm going M. I'm typing M in the chat. Michigan, number 1. So you know what you should also do if you're watching live? Type a couple ones in the chat. Spam the 1. So type your M, enter, come back to the 11111, enter, and we will keep it rolling here on the Michigan Football Report. Live post-game Q&A mailbag with you, the amazing audience of this show. King K coming with the question. He says, that was the best win out of the last 3. Go Blue. Bosa beat Ohio State again till I die. What do you guys think? We won't put a graphic up for this, but let me know which of the last 3 wins. 2021, Hassan Hassel's 5 touchdowns. 2022, 75 yards, 85 yards. The Don. Or this game, which I don't think has a defining play to it. Honestly, it probably doesn't have a defining play. It's just overall domination, Jack?
I mean, yeah, if you wanted to come up with a defining play, it would be literally the game after the play literally
That's
after
right.
Zach Zinter gets hurt.
Yeah.
It's like a 22-yard touchdown for Blake Corum. Like, that was a huge momentum boost after Zinter got hurt.
Yeah.
But I mean, like we said earlier, Michigan led and never took their foot off the gas.
Michigan's never trailing, were they? Were they never trailing?
I don't
No.
No, they scored the first points.
Yeah.
Ohio State was always having to respond to Michigan scoring. So
yeah. Let me know what you guys think, but just comment either in the live chat or in the comments when we put this video up. Probably on Monday morning. Best win for you as a fan. 2021, 2022, 2023. I think I'm just going to go 2023 because I expected it, but man, it feels so good to just give it to those Ohio State fans. And I also want to tell you guys about something very important to me, and that is our sponsor, Prize Picks, the easiest and fastest way to play daily fantasy sports. All you do is pick more or less on player stats to win up to 25 times your money. Prize Picks is awesome. It even offers a reboot policy so that your entries stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. Let me tell you why I love Prize Picks. It's just you versus the numbers, right? Today it said like J.J. McCarthy, 212.5 yards, you pick more or less. McCord, this many yards. Blake Corum, TreVeyon Henderson. I got 3 of the 4, so unfortunately I didn't win my Prize Picks for today's games. You can mix and match sports, basketball, football, NBA, NFL, college football, etc. The reboot policy, if a player gets injured in the first half, they don't come back in the second half, it's taken out of your entry. The entry continues to live on, the only daily fantasy sports platform that offers injury insurance, and they offer FlexPoint. Let me tell you a little bit about my picks this weekend. I let some of the chat sports guys pick for me. I've got Aiden O'Connell for the Raiders, rookie. We saw him last year in the Big Ten Championship game, less than 212.5 yards. And Coldridge Stroud, because he's going to be behind and he's playing in weather over 35 yards. I've got him as more than 273.5 yards. That's one of my picks. I let one of my guys here at the studio pick for me because I haven't won like in 3 weeks. So those are my picks. I put 10 on that. I win myself $20 plus to get my 10 back. That's how easy it is with Prize Picks. And you can get a $100 deposit match. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. That's prizepicks.com/CLNS for a $100 deposit bonus. We're going to put that link here in the live chat on the Michigan Football Report and down in the comments in the show if you're watching it on Sunday or Monday. prizepicks.com/CLNS. Thank you so much to Prize Picks for sponsoring today's video. Roscoe Truman coming in with the question. He says, go Blue. Nice win for Michigan onto Ohio. But the elephant in the room for Ohio State is their coach is on the chopping block. What do you think, Jack? You think Ryan Day's on the chopping block?
I don't know if he's on the chopping block. I think there's going to be a lot of really angry boosters and fans and all of that. He hasn't won the big one in 3 years, yes, but he's won
4 years.
4 years. Yes, 4 years.
No, he hasn't won in, I guess it's 4 years, yeah. He's gone 4 straight seasons without winning it for sure.
Yeah, but, they still are in the top 5 conversation at the end of the year every year. But, if you want to elaborate on those rumors of Texas A&M, I don't know.
Jim. Might be going to Texas A&M. Thanks so much to Roscoe Truman. Let's go to Big Case Mike with a $5 super chat. He says, 2-part question. Do we have an advantage in NIL over Ohio State? No, I don't think so. Not for at least incoming players, but maybe for existing players to come back. Zach Zinter, Blake Corum, Trevor Keegan this past year, Mikey Sanderstill. If so, what will advantage allow us to surpass them in recruiting? I just think Michigan, as we've seen with the whole Spygate, Connor Stallion saga over the past 5 weeks or so, is that Michigan is just so scared to break the rules because they think there's this target coming down on them. And so it's still illegal to offer NIL in exchange for coming to a school. But a lot of schools are doing it. Michigan isn't. I think their strategy in some regard of being the best in transfer portal, as I think Michigan's been the best or one of the best the last 2 off seasons, Olu Oluwatimi and this whole class, Drake Nugent, et cetera, this year, Josh Wallace. And then making sure that guys like Blake Corum and others last year, Zach Zinter, Trevor Keegan. But how about this year? J.J. McCarthy. Put $2 million on the plate for him. Donovan Edwards. Okay? That's where I think Michigan is better than Ohio State and may continue to be better than Ohio State going forward in college football. It's a whole new world next year. This was the last win. This win counts, I think, 100 wins for Michigan over Ohio State. It's the last one that absolutely means everything. Let's go on to Terrence Lucas here on the Michigan Football Report live post-game show. What are Ohio State? Where are the Ohio State Trolls? Where are they at? Where are they at? Check. We got the photo. We got the toss it up there. The thing. Terrence, good question. Comment. Beat Ohio State again. Beat Ohio State again. 1, 2, 3. Beat Ohio State again. Happens again. 3rd straight year. 95, 96, 97, Natty. 2021, 2022, 2023. National title. Let's go from Angela with the question, how about that Donovan Edwards pass? I don't know how Ohio State didn't see it. The second he got the ball, the second J.J. McCarthy let go of the ball on that pitch to the outside, I said to Jack, that's a pass, that's a pass, that's a pass. Because his body, I mean, look, it's just simple things. His body language said that he was going a little too wide to get room for passing. So I understand on the field it might be tougher to say that, but what a play call. We've been waiting for the Don to do something big time this entire year. I think he got a little confidence in that. We're going to see more of him in the Big Ten Championship like we did 2 years ago with that pass to Roman Wilson, like we did last year with 185 yards and a touchdown against Purdue. We'll see more of that this year. We'll get a win in the Rose Bowl, and Michigan will beat Ohio State again. We'll go to the national championship game. Houston or bust. Jack's saying Natty or bust. We'll talk about that after the game. We have a little more time to react to that. Thank you so much for the question from Angela. Thomas Crawford says, what about Iowa and going forward, how does Michigan get to Houston? So I think that's going to be pretty interesting on who I think Michigan's going to kick Iowa's butt no matter what, right? But you're down Zach Zinter. As we're filming this on Saturday afternoon, we don't know what the status of Will Johnson. He was walking around. It didn't look like he was, detrimental to his career or anything like that. So I'm guessing Will Johnson, if he's not back for next week, Michigan can still beat Iowa. But they may struggle potentially, I don't know, without him in the college football playoff. But the teams I want to face, if I were Michigan, I want to face one, Florida State, because they were without their quarterback. So, okay, there's one. We'll see if that happens. I'd want to face Texas, because I don't think they're as talented as Michigan. I want to face Washington, okay? I wouldn't want to face Oregon at this point. They're playing really good, so I hope Washington beats them. And I don't think Michigan's going to play Georgia because either Georgia's going to win and be in and Michigan's going to be 1-2 with them, or they're going to lose to Alabama and Georgia's not going to be in the college football playoff. So I think that's kind of how I would shake it out right now. Ohio State's out of it unless there's just a bunch of upsets at this point. If Michigan faces anybody but Georgia in the first round or Oregon, Georgia or Oregon, I'm wildly confident that they're going to win, and then anything happens in the national title game, they face one of those two teams, it's going to be tough, and Michigan's going to have to play their A game, their best game like they have against Ohio State the last 3 seasons. Guys, if you have yet to do so, subscribe to the Michigan Football Report, youtube.com/Michigan TV. Hit that subscribe button below the video. I'm going to put it in the live chat as well. Hit that sub button, and always send that link to your friends, youtube.com/Michigan TV. Help us grow as we are approaching 30,000 subscribers. Appreciate to everyone who's been with us along this ride. It's our 2019-21. It's our 5th season, crazy enough, Jack, on the Michigan Football Report on YouTube. Appreciate everyone. 30,000 is just around the corner. My guy, Bill Graves, one of our longtime supporters here on the show, he says, how big of an impact was this on recruiting? I mean, Gaitlin Bear was in the house today. You know who else in the house today? Well, Jane Davis in the house. How about Bryce Underwood, #1 player in the 2025 recruiting class from Michigan? Looking at Michigan, looking at a 3-loss LSU. What LSU do today? I'll have to check here. They came back to win. I was going to look too. We'll see. Ugh, brutal. I was going to check the top 25, but I don't think either one is in there. Yeah, they won 42-30. But I'm glad. I think it'll be help in the short term. I think this next 3 weeks leading up to signing day will be better, much better for Michigan than if they would have lost. But ultimately, I don't think Michigan's going to play in the pay-for-play NIL game like the Alabamas and Georgias and Ohio States. So our expectation should be number 5 to number 14 class going forward, but being the best at keeping fourth and fifth year players around for another year, like the one more year fund, and being the best or one of the best in the transfer portal. Joshua Bennett coming in with this question. He says, thoughts on the Big Ten championship? I think Michigan's going to destroy whoever they face in the Big Ten championship, or not whoever they face. They're going to destroy Iowa. Okay, we know it's Iowa, of course, but I was going to say myself, whatever quarterback they face, because Cade McNamara clearly got hurt about a month and a half ago. Eric All is not there. This Iowa team has got a great defense. But we saw with Michigan today, they were able to put up 30 points against a great and a better Ohio State defense. And so I think Michigan's offense will be able to score 30 to 38 points next week against Iowa. I don't think Iowa's going to score a point against Michigan. So my early score prediction, I'm going 35-0 Michigan in the Big Ten Championship. Let me know what you guys think. Comment your score predictions. Michigan, Iowa, the Big Ten Championship. Coming up next week, we're going to have wall-to-wall coverage Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Jack, that might be one we do a watch party because it's like, the whole nerves thing. I don't think Michigan's going to have much of a tough time with Iowa. Predict the score. We will have coverage the entire week, and of course, either a live post-game or a regular post-game show here on the channel. Let me know down in the comments what you guys are thinking. Michigan, Iowa, the 2023 Big Ten Championship.